order. It's Monday, February the 2nd, 2015. Let's start by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did everybody get a chance to sign the roster sheet? Okay, Dick Cox.
Yeah.
On. Jimmy McDonald.
Yeah, what's going on? You're leaving so much snow on the outside of the road. Got a hell of a mess up there the other day when the sun come out. You couldn't hardly go in it. Is your shears tripping out or what's going on?
No. You want to address that, Bob? We'll just plow what was there, and when it's soft and loosened up, we'll take the excess off. When I'm out, you know, which was there people
Never had
having
that problem
problems?
before. I mean, you couldn't hardly pass the car the other day when it was soft, because it just
Or
dragged
at
around.
up floor?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, I didn't get back in very far on the floor. I was plowing that.
I mean, you looked 2 inches, looked like
Yeah.
it.
Well, we can work on knocking that back a little bit more the next go around.
As far as getting back, I ain't saying that. I'm saying what's on the road where
Yeah.
you did plow.
Well,
I can't figure out what's letting it.
well, we're not even running shoes. We don't run shoes on plow.
I know, I looked.
And the roads, I will tell you, the roads that we surface treated this year, we are carrying a little bit there rather than tear all the chips and everything off. We didn't see any place where it was surface treated that anybody had problems getting around on those roads. At least I didn't see any place in the sign.
I'm not having no trouble when it's cold,
Yeah,
but when
the
it's
slush.
when that sun comes out and that salt works and it gets sloppy,
Yeah.
you can't hardly swing out the path.
I can see where that'd be a problem, but we'll work on it. See if we can't knock a little more of it off. We'll examine the plows and see. I got a new plow
Yes.
on the pickup this year. Like I said, we took shoes off of right away, so we're getting down as tight as we can. Maybe we need to lengthen a chain or link or something. We'll look at it, see once if there's anything causing that
It's just
more.
like, does that big plow, does it trip in the middle?
Yeah,
It's just like be your outside shear. Cause the other day, I don't know when you was up there, between the time I went home and went back down, but right there in front of Davy's old house, you was into that snowbank there. And it was out about 4 feet out in the road. It was just like,
now I will say that cutting edge was cupped out. Bob just had new cutting edge put on, what, Friday?
Just the other day.
Just the other day. So would it have been prior to that? That cutting edge was
That's
bellied
what it
out
is.
some.
I mean, I don't want to cut their yards up and not carry it a little bit there. It's not rolling back on it.
Ray Neal.
Same old question. Brad's here. We got an ordinance?
Yeah. You want me to answer that, Ray?
Not necessary now, if you don't want.
I have it. I can
Okay.
explain to everybody here. I got a draft of it.
All right, thank you.
Did you want to do that a little bit later, Brad?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and go through your business.
Okay. Barb Long?
I wasn't up his road, but I do want to say the roads that I have been on are really good. You know, you guys, I got to say, you guys did a good job on the roads in the township that I've been on. And I imagine the case 2 is still pending, right?
It is. This
Okay. Thank you. That's all I really have to say.
Thank you. John Klepser? No. Munch Klepser? No. Okay.
Danny Moore.
Danny Potter?
No complaints.
Okay. We had a copy of the meeting minutes here. Everybody have a chance to read over them. Other than John Paul, the correction of his name on there, everything else seemed to be in order. There's no corrections. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
How do you guys vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Under old business, Kathy, did you have a chance to correspond with Layman Engineering?
I called in and left a message. I referred me back to a guy, and nobody got back to me today. No.
I would say by now, county probably signed off on everything when all the payment was made.
And it was all made? I thought they were holding back.
They, from what I understand, the township didn't have a lot to say in it.
Understand that. Talking to the contractors that were there doing the work, they indicated to me at their last planning, which would have been November of 13, for the bank plantings there, stuff, that it had to be a year before they would settle up with, I guess, the state or the county or whatever. So it would have been November of last year.
November of last year
Well,
would have been the year.
would have been the year, yeah.
They did the work.
The work was done in the late fall of 13.
Okay.
And I was joking around, I was gonna tear some of the willows out, because I didn't want the willows they were having. He said, well, leave them for a year, because we have a final inspection, then you can do what you want. But I don't know if there was a final payment or not, or so. But I am going to do some work there probably next year if they don't do the work, if somebody else does it.
If I was a betting person, I would say you probably won't see
All
them
right.
back to county.
That's all right. I'll just extend my work.
Okay. Thank you, Ray. We do have one issue. When Keith Benton was here last fall about the Ambulance Association, he brought up an issue about response time to Blue Knob. And I explained to him here about 2 months ago, that during the winter months when the weather's bad, they close the gate and pave you on the main road, and it's shut up on top by this turnaround to go up to the ski resort. He wasn't aware of that. And he said their response, due to the fact that part of that lays in Kimmel Township, he done some investigating and he found that through MapQuest time factors, Portage Ambulance will be the quickest response to the ski resort, and he gave me the address, and according to MapQuest, like I said, Portage Ambulance will be the quickest there, and it was 20 couple minutes. The next closest one was Roaring Springs at 31 minutes, and Duncansville was the third out at 41, and Bedford was the last at 44 minutes. Now that's all based on excellent weather conditions, but he said what we needed, if we could have it, have Kathy draw up a letter with Kimmel Township's letterheading, just stipulating those remarks. He gave me addresses and of his location. He runs the Bedford Ambulance Association. He also goes out on call, and he asked if we could send this letter to the Bedford County 911 Center, Cambria County 911 Center, and Blair County also.
One of the concerns I have from a legal standpoint is, if you guys remember, we did an agreement with Bedford to be the ambulance service, I'm pretty sure, in Kimmel Township,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So there would have to be some type of an amendment to that agreement. And then probably an agreement with Portage or whomever will be the closest responder, you know, particularly during the winter months, because otherwise you don't want to, you know, lay yourself out to dry here. I mean, I understand why he's asked for a letter, but we did it by agreement before. We probably ought to do an amended agreement with them, and then address the issue with Portage first to see if they're going to cover the area.
Well, that's what I'm bringing this up now. What would be your recommendation to keep us clear? because of the response time, that they can't get up and they gotta go around, and you have a fatality because of time.
We're gonna have to do an amendment to that agreement, and then before that's signed, get in touch with Portage and ask whether or not they would agree to serve.
And they are doing it now.
They are, okay. Well, then they
He
probably,
checked with them,
Okay.
but he said if we had something in writing to
Yeah.
that effect, that
Okay.
we realized, Kimmel Township,
Yeah.
that this was gonna be an issue. And he said, send something to his office, his address is on here,
okay.
that they'll keep that on file.
Well, we
And
could,
he said he thought that would resolve this issue.
I think you'd wanna first make contact with Portage. Make sure that they're on board to be your service provider during the winter months, okay, for that area.
Okay.
And then, once they say yes, do a simple agreement with them, and then do an amendment to the existing agreement with Bedford to reflect that, and then I think that's how we cover it,
Okay.
okay?
That's so 911 doesn't get messed up.
Yeah, well, that's what they were looking at, times out. And he checked, he did the runs himself from several of these, and he said they were real close.
Yeah.
But that is given all good weather.
Well, when they ski, they're skiing in Greenfield. When they have an accident, they pick them up in Kimmel Township.
The address,
You start up
the
top.
address at the ski resort is in Kimmel Township. He gave me the address of the ski resort. 1418 Overland Pass. And he said that resides in Kimmel Township. Now that's where they have us for that issue. So, something needs addressed, you know.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah, but okay.
So do I need to call Portage, or are you gonna call Portage, Brad, or what are we doing?
I don't have a problem contacting them. We just, want to confirm that, and then I'll put the document together, so if the supervisors are fine with that, somebody will
Somebody
need to
needs
make
to
a
make a
motion.
motion for Brad to,
I'll make that motion. Brad can draw something up for us upon conversation with Portage Ambulance.
Is there a second, fellas?
I'll second
How do you guys vote?
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
okay, motion for Brad to contact Portage and then make an amendment and agreement up.
Kathy, I'll just give you this information that's on here. There's several articles, different calls I had from, we sit down and talk and wrote things down, so if you have any questions, ask, just holler.
Okay.
There's one there that has, it's Sheldon, but I knew him all his life as Heath. His address in at the Ambulance Association here in Bedford.
Okay.
He runs that, but he also is on call times.
Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, do we have anything else under old business needs addressed?
Yeah,
You have some correspondence, I believe, Kathy?
yeah, did you get this, Brad? They told me they sent this to you.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at on that? What do we do? Since you're here, I'm letting that in your hands.
When was the plan submitted to the township?
I have 12/8.
12/8, okay. All right, so you go to the meeting next following, which is the January meeting.
Yeah, and I just got that back right after I came back from Florida. My daughter stopped and picked it up.
Okay, I have not reviewed the plan per se. I think one of the things you're gonna have to do is, who's your engineer, Keller Engineers?
Mm-hmm.
They should look at your plan to make sure of these issues as well. And then bring it back for your March meeting to discuss any issues. And then because they're gonna need to fix some of these things before you could give any type of approval.
What it is, it's a big piece of ground
Yeah.
that had a house. They're cutting
Okay.
the house off and they're keeping the rest of it.
Keeping the rest of it.
Yeah.
Gonna be 1, 2, 3, and then, well, no, that's not. 1, 2, 3 lots, essentially.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. It does. Even though they have a dividing line between them, but they call both of them lot 1. The different pieces, that's why. Yeah, I would submit it on to Keller to let them look at it under the ordinance.
Okay. I just need to send them one copy in.
Keller, yeah, just one. And that is
I'll send a copy of that letter with it,
yeah.
so we don't know
Yeah.
what they're looking
Yeah.
at. Okay.
And that, the way that transpired demonstrates why you have the county look at it first, because they don't approve or disapprove. They're just an extra set of eyes for you guys to help with the process, and also for the landowners to maybe get it, corrected quicker and what have you.
Because essentially what they're saying, there's not enough ground on the piece of lot.
Yeah.
They want to divide off for a house, there's not enough compared what our subdivision says has to be there.
They may have to, they've got plenty of ground, essentially, is what it comes down to, so they may have to add a little bit on. Just make the lot a little bigger, that's all.
Do you need that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, to send it on to Keller.
That is for the Clausen, Frank Clausen.
I'll make a motion, we send that on to Keller Engineers for their proofreading and approval.
Okay,
Take whatever steps necessary to expedite.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
How do you guys vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the only other thing I have, Brad, did you do anything with this? Didn't I ship that on to you?
I don't know whether you did or whether you didn't. I haven't read this through.
I thought I
You might have sent
attached it to an email to you.
Okay, I'll have to double check that.
Check it out, if not, I will reattach it again.
Okay.
Unless you want me to make you a copy of it.
There's money available plus there's policy changes is what they're
Yeah. You want me to make you a copy of it?
saying. If you don't mind. If you think you've sent it by an email,
I think I've sent it by email to you.
just go back and check your email, and if you
And
have,
I'll resubmit it to you tomorrow.
then just give me a follow-up saying this is the one I previously
Okay.
forwarded.
Alrighty. And grants and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys want it. That and these here. There's 2 things for grants. And then I need, a motion to pay employers, it's workman's comp. It's in the amount of, there's 2 bills here, 223, 299, 2522.
I'll make that motion, Kevin.
Is that about what it was last year, Kathy? You're running
Yes.
about the same?
Then usually at the end of the year, we get basically close half of it back on not having any workers' claims. We get a refund back, yeah.
I'll second it. How do you guys vote on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That was in the amount of $2,522.
And you said normally we get half back.
Close to half of it back at the end of the year because it's, we're accident-free, so it helps us out. And Keller Engineers sent a letter telling us thank you for having them for their engineers for another year. And that's all I have, guys.
Okay, new business. Only one thing comes to mind, Kathy, that there was a conversation with the parties. It's up Scrubgrass Road. The house across from the log house. They insist on parking on the road. Bob's had conversations with the people there. They won't move. It's not a good issue. They got plenty of room in a driveway. They insist on parking on the road. State road, years back when I worked for PennDOT, I had no problem calling PSP and just have it towed.
Yeah.
They can worry about it. They'll check with them. If there's an issue that's broke down, get somebody there to fix it.
The police won't do that today.
No,
What they'll require you to is to enforce your nuisance ordinance.
yeah,
And there's a provision in your ordinance, I believe, we can double check that indicates that it's a nuisance to park on any portion of a public highway. So.
I would rather send them a letter
Yeah,
and explain that to them.
yeah,
And usually, if you do that, and they'll be chewing their ear a little,
yeah.
they'll,
They need to have notice
Comply.
of the violation.
it's not a good thing.
No, it shouldn't be sitting on the road for fear of somebody hitting it.
Yeah,
So we need to make a motion for supervisors to have me put a letter together.
Kate, what do you think, Bob? We need them?
Just gonna get Kathy to send me a letter.
She can send, she just needs to cite the provisions of the ordinance and attach a copy of the ordinance and what the fine will be and those kinds of things. I can review it, she prepares it.
You're the legal guy, not me.
It's not a good situation.
I'd sooner have it done right the first time.
You let it
Do
go and let it go, and something does happen, God forbid.
The basketball hoop's right beside the berm too.
Yeah,
They play basketball on the road.
Make a
So we
motion.
need a motion from you guys to have a
You know.
letter sent.
you shouldn't have to tell people this, It's not a playground on a highway. Now, I understand it's a township road, but nevertheless,
Not bad.
you go up by plowing, they'll stand and look at you, why are you here?
We're a nuisance back then too.
Yeah, one time you said.
Well, you don't want, nobody wants to see a kid get hit.
No.
Somebody get hurt.
Right, you need to.
I told them you're gonna cause a wreck here on this little bit of a turn.
We need a motion, guys.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
You know what we're talking about there last?
Oh, yeah.
there,
Oh, I
Eight
see.
boxes.
No, I see.
I'll second it. How do you guys vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. I don't want fender benders that doesn't need to be.
This was the paper that you need to look at.
How long will this take to get this together?
You mean,
Winter's not gonna be over before they get the letter.
no. Why, you want me to send it this week?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I sent
That,
Well,
standard.
man,
you. Okay, so
I
we're not
did that.
meeting with it?
you didn't push hard enough.
It's general, it's, you need to have.
The
it
ones
on
that
there.
are pretty good right
Slide it
now.
off the road.
So we need this?
Generally, yes.
Anything else New business, anything else? Bobby?
Besides get a booster for our telephones. You gotta tell Verizon we need a booster.
For here or what? For,
For the phones, we can't, half time we can't talk to each other.
Like a tower?
I guess it has to be something with the tires, because I don't have any trouble with my phone.
That's why we left Verizon after 14 years. This
John
summer.
said he got one on his, he told him in the plan that he wanted to boost it, or he wasn't signing with them no more.
We had
wanted the best
14 years
he could
with
get.
them. And we
You
left.
probably get a booster for here, but
You get a booster for here,
It
but
ain't
you're
gonna
not
do
gonna
any
get a
good
booster
out
when you're
running-
out in your truck
the
running.
booster don't do
That's
no good out
power when you're out in the truck running.
I don't know what we need, but we need something.
Walkie talkies.
Yeah.
I carry my own cell.
You're not getting a signal for enough orders, or?
Just breaking.
Oh.
Just breaks. You turn left, turn right, then you can talk a little bit. You lose it.
Is it up
We
in,
lose each other.
is it up in here or is it over in Sproul Mountain? Not over in Sproul, you don't have any trouble, do you?
I never talked to him over there.
Anywhere.
Up through here,
Out my way.
Sitting
Ain't
in our
not
house
my
at-
way.
I called.
Huh?
I think you called him one time there at our house, or he tried calling you on it. And
Out scrub grass, you might as well have tin cans.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what, a lot of times I'll carry mine.
Progressive
Mostly.
really works out there.
Does it? I'll call Verizon and see what's going on, but
Tell
otherwise
him,
I
I
don't.
mean, John's got some kind of chip put in his phone, I thought he told me. He
Okay.
made them put in.
Okay, let me call and see.
He said he can call anywhere now.
Okay.
Anything else under new business? You have anything, Kathy? Any correspondence?
Nope, you guys took care of your PSATS convention.
You've never been there.
I've been to PSATs. May go down again this year. Depends on something that I have in late March.
Bonnie, how many did they say on the computer applied the first day?
over 1,600. They sent me an email today.
The first day to go.
To sign up?
Last time I was there, President Bush stopped in and spoke. That was in 2000, I think, 5. Somewhere right around there. I have the draft ordinance on Ray's road, part of the road being vacated. Vince got me the map. And part of the process is you have to do an ordinance, and you have to give 10 days before you advertise for the vote. You have to give notice to the surrounding people. Okay, so according to his map, Ray, the Diveleys, or whoever the successor in interest is, Barbara Bailey, or whoever the successor in interest is, and perhaps PennDOT are the surrounding property owners. We would send them a letter out ahead of time. The ordinance is pretty basic that I've drafted. It will attach a copy of the map, and then I have to put together a description. I will tell you that I do want to double check all of my curves, because when you look on the map and when you plot it, sometimes the way you think it should be left, it's really right, and it won't close. So we'll go confirm that, but what we really need is any motion for you guys, and here's a draft of it subject to that, to advertise it for a vote at your March meeting, subject to me confirming the written description and giving notice to the adjoining property owners.
guys wanna make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
How do you guys vote?
Yes.
Yes.
They made a motion to make public notice and for you to send letters, right?
Yeah.
Just for that little piece of road. That's
Is
a
these
lot.
ours?
Yeah, it's a draft.
A lot of money.
What's that?
Probably.
It's a lot of money to throw it away if we just give that road back.
Oh, I know.
Let's just say you took it. Why don't we just say we give it to you and forget about it? This is crazy.
So was the bill for survey.
That was nice. Well, I don't do both of
I just thought you wanted two.
Well,
He said he didn't want two.
I was getting worried about it too.
You doubled
Now,
up.
a portion of that goes back to Barb too.
You know, what happens is, unless somebody, Ray, comes forward and challenges it within 30 days after it's enacted, then generally anybody who lies along it, okay, half goes to one side, you know, and half to the other, subject to an easement of implied use to go over it, okay? Because if somebody would have no other way, now I don't know that it landlocks anybody,
No,
you
it
know what I'm saying, but that's what the law historically has been.
You say part of it did go back to Barb Bailey.
This corner up
She
here.
Did she have to get through all this rigmarole?
I don't know. I think this does it for both of us, I believe.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. When you look at Vince's survey, he has what he calls two parcels. Well, I
Yeah.
joined them all together and reference them collectively as parcel A and B, okay?
Yeah,
But it's easier to make the description if you go around the horn rather than having to make two of them.
2 trips.
There's too many damn curves. I mean, that's a,
You'll meet yourself coming back.
yeah, it's a hard, it's just, it's
The
meticulous.
description is, very
This,
specific.
I get the sense this road is not a straight arrow road, is it?
It
Ray?
never was.
Okay, there we go. 'Cause it's r-
It's an old road.
That's why they took it out.
That was the old state road.
I know it was.
And that's where a bridge was removed too in the process, is
My
that
dad
correct?
had
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Okay.
My dad had this other section put in. I think when he first was assistant superintendent in this area.
This road, Waterhall Road used to go down and T intersection with Queen Road
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the creek.
Right there at your garage almost.
Right.
Okay.
There's an old steel
I
bridge
just
in there.
need a short executive session on a pending
Okay.
litigation matter.
All right. Make a motion that we go into an executive session to take care of some litigation information. At the point in time whenever that's taken care of, we'll go back and resume our regular session. Okay. We have nothing else at this point in time, so at this time I'll make a motion that we adjourn our monthly meeting.
I'll second.
How do you guys vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.